a review of any one of them.
Now give me a case review of Ojo versus Gharoro.
Okay, sir. I will be starting with the facts of the case.
Babe, I have been having a very uncomfortable pain in my tummy. It's so unbearable at times, especially during the night. I need to see the doctor.
Okay babe, so sorry about the pain. We should go see the doctor today. Let's book an appointment with Dr. Gharoro.
Babe, why do we have to go through the bus? I am going through a lot of pain.
I am so sorry babe, the car was having issues this morning, so we are left to take the bus today. The bus should arrive soon.
Mr. and Mrs. Ojo, good morning. What brings you to the hospital today? How is your family?
I am doing okay, Mum. I booked an appointment to see Dr. Gharoro.
Okay, Ma. You can proceed to fill in your case note at the folder section.
Hello, Ma. How may I help you?
I want to see Dr. Gharoro. I already booked an appointment.
Okay, Ma. You can go in.
Hello, Mrs. Ojo. What is your complaint?
I am having abdominal pain. The pain has been really severe and has lasted for a while.
Okay, we would be doing an ultrasound to determine what might be wrong. Mrs. Ojo, from the ultrasound result, we found out that there is a growth in your fallopian tube which would need a surgical operation with immediate effect. Would you be consenting to a surgical operation, Mrs. Ojo?
Yes, doctor. Whatever treatment or operation, I consent to it.
Congratulations, Mrs. Ojo. The operation was successful. You would be left on bed rest for a day, then you can be discharged after then.
Madam, are you experiencing any pain? Do you feel all right?
Thank you, nurse. I am not experiencing any unusual pain, just a bit of pain from the surgery site. I feel all right.
Since there is no unusual pain and you are feeling okay, you can go home and get some more rest.
Are you okay babe? You have been groaning for a while.
No, I don't feel okay at all. I am having a very bad abdominal pain. I think I need to go back to the hospital. Good day, Dr. Sylvester. I am having abdominal pain. I just had a surgery done on my fallopian tube few days ago.
So sorry about that. Let's do an X-ray to determine what is wrong. Your X-ray results are out. It seems there is a broken needle in your abdomen. We need to remove it as soon as possible. If possible right now.
How could the doctor be so negligent to leave a broken needle in my abdomen? I am suing him to court for negligence. But first let's get this broken needle removed from my abdomen.
We are at the trial court for the judgment of the case of Ojo v. Gharoro.
After hearing all the claims and evidence brought forward by the parties, I hereby dismiss this case on the ground that the respondents rebutted the presumption of negligence.
Hey babe, would you like to drink coffee?
I don't think so. I am very angry at the court's judgment today. I am going to appeal at the Court of Appeal.
We are at the Court of Appeal for the case of Ojo versus Gharoro.
After hearing all the evidence and claim brought before this court, I have a few things to say. The evidence given by the first respondent, who is an eyewitness, carries a probative value as opposed to printed evidence and record. Also, the first respondent's evidence of the use of a substandard surgical needle by the respondents during the operation is a general statement and does not connote liability or negligence by the respondents. I hereby dismiss this appeal with no damages awarded.
I am so pissed at this court judgment. I am not giving up. I am going to appeal at the Supreme Court.
We are at the Supreme Court for the case of Ojo v. Gharoro. The issues for determination raised by the appellant include 1. Whether the learned justices of the Court of Appeal were right in finding that the evidence of the first respondent was that of an eyewitness who can be described as a star witness and therefore attract the most probative value in view of the printed evidence on record. 2. Whether the learned justices of the Court of Appeal were right in their finding that the issue of damages was not covered by the grounds of appeal. 3. Whether the learned justices of the court were right in dismissing the case of the appellant in view of the totality of the evidence led. 4. Whether the learned justices of the Court of Appeal were right in holding that the first respondent's evidence on the use of a substandard surgical needle by the respondents during the operation was a general statement and did not connote liability or negligence by the respondents.
After hearing all these, let me end this judgment with the words of the great Lord Denning in his book titled, Doctors at Law in Part 6 on Negligence in his book, The Discipline of Law, pages 237,242 and 243. A medical man, for instance, should not be found guilty of negligence unless he has done something of which his colleagues would say, he really did make a mistake there. He ought not to have done it, but in a hospital, when a person who is ill goes in for treatment, there is always some risk, no matter what care is used. Every surgical operation involves risks. It would be wrong, and, indeed, bad law, to say that simply a misadventure or mishap occurred, the hospital and the doctors are thereby liable. It would be disastrous to the community, if it was so. It would mean that a doctor examining a patient, or a surgeon operating at a table, instead of getting on with his work, would be forever looking over his shoulder to see if someone was coming up with a dagger, for an action for negligence against a doctor is for him like unto a dagger. His professional reputation is as dear to him as his body, perhaps more so, and an action for negligence can wound his reputation as severely as a dagger can his body. You must not therefore find him negligent simply because something happens to go wrong. You should only find him guilty of negligence when he falls short of the standard of a reasonably skillful medical man, in short, when he is deserving of censure. One sees the above fairly liberal stand in some of his judgments. If Lord Denning, known for his radical activism, can take such a position, then the legal position should be so, particularly in this appeal where the respondents clearly rebutted the presumption of negligence. While I am in sympathy with the position of the appellant, my sentiments will not go far to give her judgment by allowing this appeal. After all, it is good law that sentiments have no place in the judicial process, particularly when the sentiments are against the law. The judge that I am, I must bow to the law, and I so bow. In sum, the appeal is dismissed. I make no order as to costs. In conclusion, this case is about medical negligence, and the plaintiff's claim failed because no expert evidence establishing negligence was provided to the court. This is the end of my presentation. My name is Praise Olawoyai. My matric